So we began offering a process where we say, choose some subject of which you have some interest and no long-standing habit of worry or doubt or resistance. Worry, doubt, fear, guilt, all of those being representatives of resistance. Inclusion of imagine, what is the difference between a higher vibration and a lower vibration? But what makes the difference in the speed? Resistance. It's always resistance. It's always the introducing of something that is of a lower or slower vibration. And so when we say higher and faster, can you feel that those two words mean the same thing? When we say higher, faster, purer, can you feel that those three words mean the same thing? And all of them mean absence of resistance. So we encourage you to take 2 or 3 subjects every day that you have little or no resistance about, subjects where you have some interest, and just hold the subject softly for 17 seconds and watch what happens. Let the universe show you how responsive it is to your vibrational output. You are literally offering a radio signal in every waking moment that the universe is responding to. And so what we're wanting you to do is to begin to deliberately offer the signal. So someone gave Jerry the book, and in the wee hours of the morning, he is sitting up in bed reading it. And when Esther awakened, he had been reading it, and he had already found several favorites that he wanted now to read to Esther. So she laid in the bed, and he read some of these wonderful stories, sort of 17-second kind of stories, where the universe had delivered these miracles, or so it seemed. The preface of the book was written, or the introduction was written by Bernie Siegel. And he talked about how he often finds pennies everywhere he goes, and that he takes these pennies as signals from the universe of well-being and abundance. And whenever he sees one, he knows that that's what the message is, that it's a deliberate message for him. And so Jerry read several stories, and then he read the introduction very last to Esther, and she was lying in the bed and she was saying, I believe that. In other words, I know this. This is our experience. We have this happening in every day many times. And she got out of bed and brushed her teeth and picked up her makeup pouch, and out of the pouch flew a penny and slapped down on the counter of the bathroom sink, seconds from her being on her feet. And she said to Jerry, they really have a good time with us, don't they? In other words, it was not so significant that there was a penny in her makeup pouch. That is not hard to understand. But one in all of the years of Esther's travel had never leaped out and slapped down on the counter as if to say, here I am for you, with such power and clarity and poignancy and timing. And so they got ready. It was the day they were flying. They went to the airport, and as they went through the checkpoint, they wanted to examine Jerry's bag because he has all of this electrical equipment. And so while they were looking through his bag, Esther took the briefcase and put it at his feet so that he could strap it on the bag when he was finished. And as she turned to walk away, she said to him, watch the bag, I've put it right at your feet, because she thought he might not see it and might stumble over it. And as he looked down at the bag, there were 2 pennies laying beside it. And he picked them up, and Esther grinned, and she said, the fun is only now beginning. I can feel it. And she put the pennies in her pocket, and then they got onto the airplane. And as they're on the airplane, she carries a great big black purse that she calls her saddlebags, and anything and everything that they might possibly want while they are flying is in there. And the small miracle book was in there too today, and she had stuffed it all up under the seat for takeoff. And then Jerry said, is that little book in your purse? And Esther said yes. So she drags the book down between her legs and opens the zipper, and here's Small Miracle standing on its end in the book, and right on top of it 2 little pennies, right on the spine. Not the same 2 pennies, they were still in her pocket. 2 more shiny pennies. And then they opened a magazine, and the magazine, Esther opened the magazine, and as she looked, the title read, A Penny Here, A Penny There. And Esther said, you guys are good, you guys are really, really good. And now what we are getting at here is, as you are acknowledging how much of this is already happening in your experience. In other words, from the place of saying, I'm not where I want to be, you can't get to where you want to be. But from the place of saying, these gifts are coming all the time. The universe is bringing me pennies every day. Pennies that are vibrational matches to my desire. In other words, this penny is not a great desire for Esther, but it is a representation that the universe is responsive to anything that you hold as your object of attention. And so what you're wanting to do is make statements in every day to those pertinent things that are important to you. And in the same way that something as simple as a penny can turn up, big things turn up in exactly the same way. In other words, the universe, the laws of the universe are no more or less responsive to a penny than to a student that arrives on your doorstep. You get the sense of what we're talking about? It's a matter of finding vibrational harmony with your desire. In other words, everything is about perception. And so if you are wanting to feel new, you have to look through new eyes, and the easiest way to do that, now you don't have to go to a new city and you don't have to have all new friends, but we would encourage you to do anything that you can do that gives you a new feeling of who you are. It is not difficult to bridge your vibration when you are asking for new experiences. It is very difficult to bridge your expectation if you are staying in the same, for this reason. These thoughts are magnetic. In other words, when you hold a thought for 17 seconds, it joins other thoughts that are like it. And think about all the thoughts that have been thought around you, thoughts that you have projected, thoughts that others have projected. So what happens is you sort of dig a trench or a groove where you stand, and most of you don't vary very far on either side of that groove. It's sort of when by virtue of what you see. It doesn't have to be that way. If you were not so much observers, you could set your own tone more easily. A very blunt and powerful statement that we would like all of you to receive and integrate into your being is, one who is mostly an observer thrives in good times but suffers in bad times, because what he is observing is already vibrating. As it's vibrating and he observes it, he includes it in his vibrational countenance. As he includes it, the universe accepts that as his point of attraction and gives him more of it. As he gets more of it, he observes it. As he observes it, he offers it as his vibration. As he offers it as his vibration, the universe accepts it as his point of attraction. So the better it gets, the better it gets, or the worse it gets, the worse it gets, while one who is a visionary thrives in all times, you see. So what we want you to do is observe less and imagine more. Observe less and pretend more. Observe less and remember selectively more. But what happens, you see, if life has brought you, by virtue of what you've been observing, to this habit of vibrational offering, you cannot observe or receive or often even imagine outside of that. In other words, it's like I can't get there from here because here is so dominant. So we love your statement, we love your question, we love your desire, because what you're saying is, I want somehow to find a way of offering a vibration that's different from what I've been offering. And we say that desire is the first step. In other words, I want to vibrate in harmony with who I really am. And the way you sort of sneak in the back door of that is by making and meaning this one statement. I want to feel good. I want to feel good. In other words, if you will say it and mean it, I want to find a thought that feels good, not I want to find the thought that is most normal, or I want to go to the groove that is most natural, but I want to find the thought that feels the best. Very often you will take yourself to a different place. And if you already have a groove that feels good, that's fine. Stay there in that groove. You get the sense of what we're talking about? You'll hear more as we move forward, but often people will say to us, Abraham, here's where I am, and it's okay, but it's not very good, which is a bit of what we're feeling from your vibration. And they'll say, I would really like to be over there. And we say, well, what's over there? And they'll say, you tell me, or I don't know because I'm over here. Or sometimes they'll even belligerently say, well, I don't know what's over there because I'm over here and I don't want to be over here. I just want to be anywhere but over here. And we say, you really have to let what is over here, let the contrast work for you. If what's over here doesn't feel good, identify why it doesn't feel good and what would feel better. In other words, that will give you a piece of what's over there.